I am Reverend Irene Smith, and I'd like to welcome you to Generationally Speaking. Here at the table, we come and we discuss life issues, no matter what they might be. As we sit at the table with each generation, we all learn, we all grow, we all are inspired.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Generationally Speaking.
He can draw.
He can draw.
Yeah,
Okay.
he draw the illustrative figures with it too.
Can I tell you, that's awesome that not only is he a literary writer, but to be an illustrator, that is awesome. So now we got to at 12 years old. I can't even imagine at 12 years old. I when I think back, and that's a lot of years. I got to go back in. But at 12, I can't recall trying to write a book, much less a series of books.
Wow.
So when he comes to you with these books, what do you say?
Reverend, I was amazed. It was a jaw-dropping moment. I looked at the book and I was like, really? In my house? I didn't know when you did this. And he didn't talk about it with us until that moment when he says, is my book going to be published? And the doctors were like, does he wrote a book? Where is it? And he started talking about it. So when I heard him talking about it with them and they were like excited, I said, I got to look at that book when we get to, and we will publish it. So yes, there was that part of it, like it was a surprise, especially with the chapter books, because the initial books were not like that. They were like children thing. But now he's writing chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, up to 20 chapters. So for him to do that, to be able to do that was a really big surprise for me.
I'm gonna have to say, do you mind if I say something?
No.
So when he wrote that book in 2012, he showed it to me and I read it. I mean, it was really detailed, but because he's more open to me. And then when I saw it, I was like, and he wanted it to be published. But then I think I said that in my past interview with Vicky, that when he told me about publishing it, I have never done that before. I don't have the resources either. But then, like my husband said, when he started going back to the same story about his book being published in the hospital, that's when we stepped in and like, we need to make a move. So yeah, so he already told me, although my husband didn't know. Yeah, so I'm just trying to make that correction.
So I'm just excited about publishing. So then as parents, we'll turn over every rock that we got to turn over for our children, to be quite honest. There's nothing that we will not hold back from doing. So you all, I guess you go into prayer and try to figure out, well, we're gonna try to publish it. Tell me what that journey was like in making the decision and then reaching out, because when you reach out, there are so many different persons who say, I'll do this, I'll do that. I mean, as a parent, how did you make that decision?
Well, I told my wife in the hospital, we decided we're going to publish it. My wife went on to do the research, to search for publishers. I didn't even know she's gone far. In fact, before I realized, she already came up with one person, and this is a VMH a publishing company with Vicky being the manager. And I tell you, it was a journey we've not been on before. We have no idea what we were actually into. So far, the publishing company we met, that of VHN?
VMH.
VMH. They really made the process so simple. The way Vicky worked with us, make it easy for us to do it. And we almost done right now as we speak. We almost get everything. The book should be out anytime from now. Should be ready. The first series, the first book in the series should be ready any moment from now.
So let's just for a moment talk about when the book is published and ready for the public. It will be available on what platforms?
So the website is saidkonnehisname.com, and people will be able to order it from there. Walmart will be selling it. Apple, there will be the online book, the Target, Barnes and Nobles, all of the book sales outlets will be selling it. Target, all of them.
And the first book that will come out. So tell me, you said it's a series. Is it a series of 6, a series of 12, a series of 3? What is the series number?
It's a series of 3. So he has his first ready. The second is almost ready to go. The second in the series. So the third is what he's going to be working on later. That he has his second almost completed. So that will maybe coming up sooner.
All right. So that first book will come out, and we are just excited because these are great times for our youth, especially our youth of color, to be recognized for their literary excellence, and not just literary excellence, but in listening to you, you've spoken enough for me to know that this young man is gifted, to be quite honest. It
Yes.
sounds like he's really gifted. And so we are thankful for that. We want to acknowledge that. We want to make that known. And so I'm excited about having the opportunity to come on and talk about, this series of books that Ted has written. Now, what is the name of the first book?
In the series.
Yes.
Power Up 1.
Power Up 1. All
Yeah.
right. All right. And so we're excited about that. And what's the projected date for its publication?
That will be from the publishing company. We've done all our own aspects, everything we're supposed to do, we've done it. So what they were waiting on, we just get it done, cleared out last weekend. So we're waiting on them, but it should be any time from now because everything is almost set.
Yeah.
So as parents, talking to other parents, deciding that you want to have a book published, it is a tremendous decision, and it requires finances. So as parents, talking to other parents, what would you say to them when it comes to making that financial decision for your child?
Go ahead, Chris.
We had to talk among ourselves, my husband and I, and made that decision. We had to sacrifice on other aspects, and knew how important it was for his well-being, because we had to show that we were serious, that we believe in his ideas, and we want it to be showcased to the world. And financially, we can make that sacrifice, and then maybe eventually, God might bless it eventually, and we can, reset it where it came from. But we know it was the right move to make.
I read an article, heard a news story about a young man, he's an older man now, literary writer. And he said at 12 years old, he told his mom that he wanted to write. And she laughed at his thoughts and actually put him down. And he said he made a statement then that once he became successful, he would never do anything for her. Well, this man became successful, and he holds that thought of, I still don't want to do anything for her. But even though that's a wrong thought, but I think it's important what you said is that you and your husband, once this gift is recognized, that you and your husband came together and prayed about it and decided, you know what, we're going to have to make this financial decision. And you didn't make that decision lightly, but you decided that this is what we want to do for our son. This is what is going to be necessary for him to move forward to the next level. And so I just think that's a wonderful statement to all parents that are out there, that there are times that we have to invest in our children in more than food on the table. Because, we like to say that. I put the food on the table. I put the clothes on your back. And sometimes that input has to be more than that. And I'm
Yes.
thankful to know that you all were willing to do that. And I know for Ted that
Mhm.
inside of him, I know that he's thankful that he has you as parents who came to believe in him
Yes.
and his gift.
Yes.
And not just in word, but in deed, that you put the finances on the table to show him this is what we're going to do. So tell me about his siblings. How are they taking all of this in, that their brother has written this book? What are their thoughts?
There's excitement all over the house. Actually, Ted's writing has spurred up growth of other small writers all over the house. Siblings are busy writing as well. I
Yep.
bought them notebooks and everybody is writing. So it's an exciting event and everybody is happy.
Yeah.
They are all happy with him.
So you got these literary writers now who are chemists who are writing chemistry books and all other kinds of genres of work. So tell me, very early on, when you look back now over Ted's life, was there any pivotal moment that you saw that may have projected him towards this thought of writing his thoughts out? You know, a lot of kids have thoughts in their minds, but few really put it to paper.
Mhm.
Was there a pivotal moment that you noted that he was able to take his thoughts and put them to paper?
Yes, Vicky, I was talking because I do a lot of talk with my kids, a lot of very personal talk, one-on-one, telling them the story of my life, where I came from,
Mhm.
how horrible my beginning has been, and today God has made it what it is now. So I make sure they understand the importance between choice making and where they can get if they make the right choices. It's a talk that we always have, all of them, not one time, not twice. I've taken them to places, to trailer parks and to the big men's quarters. And I showed them the difference. And I told them what can make you be in the trailer park and what can make you be in the big neighborhood.
Mhm.
So when I was talking with Ted and he started talking about being a movie director, movie actor, Tara Perry came up. I talked to him about it. He watched his movies and he liked it. Then that was the moment I told you earlier that I began to tell him that, look, this is the key to a literary work. If you want somebody to like your project, because that's the goal, you want to make people like your work, you have to take them on a journey. And in every piece of work, there is a climax. You have to climax it, create a climax, and then bring it down back to the conclusion. So, and again, maintain one main idea. So as you go in, the main story you started, maintain it all the way to the end. Don't go in between, because he was trying to write a short story books, short stories. I say, yeah, there are books that are called short stories, a combination of short stories that you can do that. But if you're going to write a narrative or a fiction, you want to maintain one big idea and take it from the beginning to the end and make sure you're carrying people with you. So I was able to share that part of it with him. I'm not a writer, like I said. I only learned literature in high school, and that was it. That's all I know about writing from my literature class. So I use the little I know from my literature class to coach him. And he is very coachable. Like you talk to him, he will listen to you with everything in him, and he will ask questions if it's not clear. So you can tell that he's taking everything in when you're talking to him. And after that, he started, that was when I told you he destroyed all the previous work he did, and he started this Power Up series. So since then, he's been writing, but I wasn't sure it was this wonderful work he has done on my side, because I've been very busy too.
Grace, would you like to add to that?
Well, he said it. He said it all. But I would say he's interested in film writing. He has a particular, I mean, like the movies, he has a particular ones that he's really interested in, like Avatar, Cameron's movies. Cameron, he made Passion of Christ. He's into that, or his work. So, I mean, he's not just sitting there. He knows the people he admires in filmmaking. So he tries to what you say, go on their their radar and see what they're working on. Yeah.
What I like, Brother Tony, that you brought up was that showing your children the importance of choice. And I think sometimes we don't show them real choice, that taking someone to an underserved neighborhood and then taking someone to a neighborhood where there's a greater served community, that these decisions were based on choices that were made. And sometimes those choices have been generational choices, but there's still way out. And education is certainly that way out. And I love the fact that you said that I showed my children choices so they understood that as parents, only thing I can do is lead you and try to guide you. I'll say that, try to guide you. But at the end of the day, as the child, you really have to make the decision to do what in the way that I've guided you. So I thank you for sharing that. And for your other children, we're talking about Ted, but I don't want to leave any of them out about what they're doing of excellence that you want to share with us.
My first daughter, she's a 12th grader. She's a 12th grader, and she's been in several clubs. You know, she's done the medical. It's a program she did for with Harvard, and I have my second daughter too. They've been all A's, like they never have B's. They're like excellent students. All the other ones, and then my third one coming up, she's showing the same thing. So I don't know where she's gonna head. But I would say God has blessed me with good kids. And I think it's part of what my husband said about telling them about choices, like you need to put hard work, in what you do. Your work you put in is what you're gonna produce. So it's a constant thing he preached to them, and I think they listen to him. And we'll see how that goes in the future, what they will become.
I want to add that in everything we give God the glory.
Yes.
I am a believer, a Pentecostal preacher, a pastor. So I prayed, I commit all of them to God. Whatever is happening is not by our making,
Right.
it's not by their effort, it's God answers to prayer. So my kids are actually excellent. It's something we don't really take for granted.
Yes.
Because we know it's God's work, that they are in the gifted program, almost all of them.
Yep.
The little one in fifth is just starting K. That's our last baby. The teacher is even asking us, do you want her in the special class, in the gifted? We said, we don't know. Let her show herself. Then we can all tell. The one in the 4th grade, they already place her in the gifted as well. So even Ted was in the gifted program. So all 4 of them are in gifted program in the different schools where they are. And it's been that way right from time.
Yeah.
So my kids picked up the message and they're very hardworking.
Yeah.
And I'm really grateful to God for that.
I want to talk a little bit about that, that your children, because your children have been able to excel in school. So the home life, because I think that's important too. The fact that you're a Pentecostal preacher and allowing your son to do this series in superheroes, that speaks volumes. That says a lot.
Yes.
Because it says that I understand my relationship with God, and I understand that these children that He placed in my hands, that I have a responsibility to them as well. So in your home, and as your children were in their formative years, I will say when they're 5 and 6 and 7, or even 4, uh, thinking back now, what were some of the things that you allowed your children to participate in, and some things that you held your children back from doing too much of?
So one good thing that my wife, I give her the credit, is she's a reader. What I mean by that is you see books everywhere, on my bed, on my pillow, and sometimes I try to hide myself from her books, but she took them to library at early age, and when they go to the library, sometimes they come home with over 60 books. My kids run through the library in 6 weeks. They've gone through every book on the shelf, and they're going over again. So when I saw that, at early age, I said, let me make this one more creative. So I bought them a notebooks, and I said, give a summary of each of the books and the author. Write the author of the book, the title of the book, and give a summary. That the one that can do for 50 books, I'm going to give them an award. And they all did it.
Wow.
That summer month, everyone wrote a summary of each of the books they are writing, the author, the title, and a summary. And I gave them an award for that. I took them to Disneyland. That was the reward of that hard work. We went to Disneyland and they all enjoyed it. So that was in place, and they do it so freely. It's not like you force them to read. They all copy mommy, and they are all readers, very good readers. I am not, but they are.
So it sounds like your children didn't watch a lot of TV, or did they?
No, they don't. And even the video game, they play it, but not as much. So they watch TV, but not much. It's all about reading.
Yeah, I think, and I bring this up so that parents who are looking on can model some of these things that you're sharing with us in terms of raising our children and the expectation that we should have from our children. That yes, we know that they're not all Einsteins, but we also know that they can rise as high as they have a desire to, and that seeing you all model that Grace through her reading, her ferocious reading, and it means a lot. So Ted, I don't know if you're able to share anything with us now about your book, or what you would like to say to my audience. Ted is experiencing a medical condition that makes it difficult for him to share his thoughts vocally, but he has them inside of him. So I'm going to allow him to take whatever time he needs to share with you, our audience.
Looking to the camera. Head up.
Go ahead. You want to tell them about your characters? Yeah, they listen. They wait. They want to hear from you about your characters.
Yes.
My characters?
Oh, your power up.
Yes, please.
Hear what you wrote about.
Tell us about your characters.
Look at it. I don't want to speak.
Yep. Say about how it came up with the camera. Yeah. Right.
And I, well, you know what? I just want to say to my audience, that while he wants to share, it's not easy. The words will not come as easy as we might think because of everything that he's experiencing. Yeah. But I will allow his parents to share his heart because he shared with them privately. And sometimes in the midst of cameras being in your face and all of that, it's a little intimidating. But we know he's going to get accustomed to it because he's going to have more cameras in front of him, and he's going to be behind the camera directing. So Grace, I'm going to start with you sharing a little bit about some of the main characters over the years that you read in his book and the book that's being published.
So he talks about it to us. He called them the elemental powers. Okay. He gave his characters powers There's one that is on fire. There's ice power. There's the magnet power and the earthquake. I mean, like he is very descriptive, and he also will like, I don't know how to say, the way he explained how it came about in details is like, this is beyond me. Like, I have never seen a 12-year-old write such a thing. Like, I mean, when you say it, it looks like an adult was writing the description of how it all came about, and it's all fiction. This is not like, oh, he read it in a book or whatever. It's all fiction. So it has a lot of characters, and I want the audience to read it because it's very, very interesting. Like, how can someone died in a volcano and came back with firepower? It's like beyond me how he thought about that and actually made it in his book. I mean, it's amazing. I have never seen anything like that. I've read a lot of books, but I have not seen that.
Just hearing about it, I'm excited because I know I have one son who's really into the superheroes, and it's big, especially after Chadwick Boseman, came out. So it's really, really on the front. And so to have this young man at 14 writing, I'm just encouraged. Tony, I'm going to give you the last word.
Okay. So I really appreciate this moment, Reverend Irene, and I thank the viewers for following this episode. Ted is doing something that we all would need to encourage him, and I'm asking that we all should encourage him to write. It is an amazing thing to have a 12-year-old doing what he's doing. And because it's a good thing, we will promote it. And I want you guys to do the same. Help us promote it so that other young kids, it will be inspirational to other young kids and other families to copy what Ted has done and what we have done to support him, so that we have other writers and talent out there that is going wasted because nobody was able to support it, nobody was able to nurture it, and we don't want that to continue anymore. So I'm asking the public to support Ted, his imaginations and what he has done. He has so much in stock. Even I don't have an idea to give. And as you do that, I pray that the Lord Almighty will bless you. Help us share the word, spread it as wide as you can go. Thank you.
Amen. So to my audience, I want you to be inspired to be all that God calls you to be. I want you to be informed by the word of God. And once you're inspired and informed by the word of God, you will be transformed. But listen, inspiration without information will not cause transformation. You got to have both those things to be transformed through the word of God. Meet us next week, same place, same time. God bless you all.